Good evening, good day, everyone. Wish to welcome you to our academic writing session. If you've thought about being self-employed or working from home, then academic writing is the ideal for you. I'll be taking you through the introductory part of academic writing, and I'm going to explain to you what it all entails, what you're expected to do to become an avid proficient writer. 10 Miles Ahead and 5 Months Limited, we skill you to become an avid proficient writer with a competently competitive working professional ethic. Therefore, joining us is a big deal and we appreciate you. We are in a bid to creating a big, better, and brighter blue youth economy, and I think you guys have a role to play in this. We are going to get started exactly to how you get started when you're given an assignment. I'm going to share my screen on some of the issues and some of the things that we are going to tackle in our writing. First thing, most people do ask that what is academic writing? They do ask that what is academic writing? Academic writing is a writing activity used for academic purposes, research papers, different types of essays, dissertations, literature reviews, research proposals, and many others. Our training is also going to help you and is going to, apart from just giving you the basic skills of how to become a good writer, it's also going to skill you on how to become a professional and to become a great writer in dissertations, literature reviews, research proposals, good essays, and many more. Well, academic writing has quite a lot in it that we need to understand. We have 6 basic requirements that everyone needs to have to ensure that your work is perfect. Starting from it is number 1, following of instructions. You know, when you're doing your writing instructions, you are going to simply be given a question and you will be expected to give a feedback or to give a discussion according to the topic you have been issued. So it's very important that you maintain the focus, you maintain the lead so that you answer the question. The biggest challenge ever as a writer would be if you've not followed the instructions and your work ends up not being standard enough. Your work ends up not being accepted. That is the biggest thing. You know, there are other mistakes that can be corrected. For example, when it comes to formatting, it can be corrected if an error has been made. But issues to do with contents can never be corrected, but it will need you to start all over again from the beginning. Therefore, it's important that you understand that academic writing is very formal and unbiased, clear and precise, focused and well-structured, well-sourced, correct, and consistent. Each and every paragraph should be able to come up with a particular idea, an idea that is going to make your work good. The one thing that I always say is that your content is very important, and you have to always ensure that whatever you're writing is mature work. Whatever you're writing is mature. I've told you that the first thing ever is following of instructions. If you fail to follow instructions, you're likely to deliver work that is substandard. You're likely to deliver work that is not up to the expectation of the writer. And that one is highly penalized. Number one, when your work is penalized, you get a fine on the amount of pay you're supposed to get. You get your account gets terminated or suspended, which is something that is very, 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 very tough. Therefore, it's important that once you get a question, you analyze it very well. You analyze it, you understand each and every aspect that is required. If you are expected to talk about how COVID-19 has resulted in a downturn of the economy, and you have been told to give a recommendation, then your work must entail both the effects or impacts of COVID-19 on the economy and the recommendations to a recovery. It is very important that each and every aspect of your writing be answered. Every aspect of the question be answered in what you're writing. The other important thing is formatting. In academic writing, we have different types of formats. We have number 1, APA formats. We have MLA formats. We have Vancouver. We have Chicago. We have Harvard. But our training, our third training is basically going to focus on how to become a better writer in APA MLA, as they are the most used formats of writing. We are going to look at it in subsequent sessions. I'm going to avail the links for you to be able to access the sessions that we are going to be handling MLA and APA format of writing. The other important thing that you need to put in your mind going ahead is that the structure of your writing is also key. And I think with the structure, it's very much familiar with us, because most of us, having come from high school, you understand how essays are written. You understand how writing is done. You understand that we have the introductory part of your writing, we have the body, and we have the conclusion. Now, the introduction provides the background information, laying out the scope and direction of the essay. And your introduction also states the thesis statement. The thesis statement is important as it gives a highlight of what your work is going to discuss. What are we expecting to see in your body? What are we expecting to see in your discussion? What are we expecting to see in your dissertation? What are we expecting to see? Therefore, I lay a lot of emphasis on the thesis statement. If your work does not have a thesis statement, then it is termed to be vague, because the person who is going through your work will have a hard time coming up with the relevant information and coming up with what exactly is important all through. Therefore, it's important that you give a direction. When I'm traveling from Nairobi to Mombasa, I'm supposed to give, and I'm giving maybe accountability, or I'm supposed to illustrate. Maybe let's say I lost something along the way, something that is very important. And let's say maybe I was walking, and maybe the police asked me, like, I want you to give us a direction of each and every place you passed, each and every station you passed. Therefore, you're going to start by saying, maybe I came from Nairobi town, CBD. I went to Muthurwa. I boarded gari ya kwenda Mombasa, that is Mbukinya. I hope that is wrong, but I think it's going to make it right. Mbukinya. You took Mbukinya. You went through Mombasa Road. After going to Mombasa Road, you went via, maybe, let's say, I'm not sure of those directions, but you say maybe you went to Mutito one day, you went to Voi, you passed via a station, you went and took some tea in a restaurant, maybe you got into a supermarket, you bought something, you went into this place, this is what I did there. I went to a shopping center, I took some guavas, and maybe you took some mangoes, of course. It is your own choice on what you took at the time. You maybe went to Voi, you went to Kwale, then you found yourself in Mombasa. You know, when you give this kind of illustration and this kind of direction, it's very easy to follow the path, to follow the track of your progress, so that I know that maybe if you've lost this thing, I'll have to go visit this place. I go to this other one, I go to this other one, and finally I'm going to reach here. That direction is very important. Therefore, the reader, or rather the professor who is going to read the work you're doing, is only going to follow the direction you've given to know that exactly what is this student talking about? What is this student analyzing in his or her work? What is it that these people are talking about? Therefore, it's important you give that direction, because it's only when you give that direction that you can be able to find the answer. You can only find the answer once you have that direction. And the lecturer will only know you are a focused student or writer if you have given a direction and say, this is the way I went. I talked about, my essay is going to talk about the effects of COVID-19 on the economy. Is also going to talk about the effects of COVID-19 to the education sector, the health sector, and it is also going to talk about the effects of COVID-19 on maybe, let's say, transport sector. Then you are also going to give recommendations of what needs to be done to ensure we salvage the economy. You're giving the direction, like what are we going to talk about? Therefore, going ahead now, once you've given that direction, the reader, or rather the professor, is going to understand and know that this student is going to talk about subject A, B, C, and D, giving a clear outlook of an organized student, an organized writer. Then we go to the other part, which we call the body. The body now supports the thesis statement. Supports the thesis statement. Now, our thesis statement maybe was, We are going to discuss about how COVID-19 has impacted negatively the economy of Kenya. We are also going to discuss on how it's affected the education sector. Maybe your topic sentence now, and remember, each and every paragraph, the body contains paragraphs, and each and every paragraph should contain an idea. A paragraph for a single page should range between 4 and 5 sentences, 4 to 5 sentences. That is mature enough with good content. I'm not saying that is the specific, but it can go maybe chini or it can go a little bit higher depending on what you've been told to write. Then the other thing is now, like the topic sentence is the first statement in your paragraph. COVID-19 has resulted in reduction in taxes. Reduction in taxes supports the fact that COVID-19 has resulted in what? In people not working, hence the government is not able to collect adequate taxes. COVID-19 has resulted in the reduction in taxes collected monthly by the national government. That is your topic sentence. Then your body now, or the part of your topic sentence now starts supporting that statement, like how has it resulted. Now, what leads to the taxes not being enough? What leads to that? Now, that is what your topic, that is what the body part of your paragraph is going to answer. That is very important. Then we also look at the conclusion. The conclusion is the last part of your writing, and it must contain the words in conclusion. It must contain that, or in summary. Those are very important. In conclusion, now it wraps up everything, each and every main idea that you have talked about in your essay. It talks about that. I'm also going to share with you notes on how this is done in some of the written works so that you are able to follow through. Now, when I talked about, and I do a very, very stiff emphasis on thesis statement. Thesis statement. Now, there are types of thesis statement that are not allowed. They are very vague, they are terrible, they are bad, they are humongous, they are terrible, they are bad, they are bad, they are bad, they are not good. There are some types of thesis statement that are not allowed. Those are for kids, they are for children in nursery, maybe children in pre-unit. But for a person who is mature, a person who is in campus, a person who is in a high school, then the ideal thesis statement should look like the second part where my cursor is actually pointing. This one is not allowed. Fourth while, it's not allowed. If somebody ever taught you that, then things have changed. If I maybe looked at it from the other sessions, then it's not allowed. Kindly let's adapt to the new normality of this. Now, for example, now this is about greenhouse gases. So the first thesis statement states that this essay will talk about the reasons for global warming. Or in this essay, I will analyze the causes of global warming. Rather, the best way to put all this and to wrap it up in a mature and substantive way is by saying greenhouse gases, extreme use of non-renewable energy, and pollution are the main causes of global warming, which needs to be stopped. It means that you are going to talk about the various causes of global warming. The various causes of global warming, that is what you've said in this thesis statement, which is very right. You're going to talk about greenhouse gases, extreme use of non-renewable energy, and pollution, which are the main causes of global warming. That one, you are being very specific, very precise, and very, very professional. Very, very professional, which needs to be stopped. Which means in your essay, you're also going to talk about the emphasis and giving maybe your recommendations or giving awareness to the society that this needs to be stopped. This is what basically you're talking about, which needs to be stopped. You're going to give recommendations of exactly how that is going to be done. The other thing, point number 4 is stylistics. Stylistics. Characteristics of academic writing include a formal tone, use of third person rather than first person perspective, a clear focus on the research problem under investigation, and precise word choice. By that I mean that using of the third person, you're not allowed to write like I or my or our. That is first person. Rather, you're supposed to say you are supposed to use third person where you're saying there. They came, not I came or we came. You know, you're talking from the perspective of another person. It's not you. Therefore, professionally and formally, you're supposed to use the third person unless stated otherwise. In an easy way, you are told like, what would you do if you were the leader of the Global Warming Institute? What will you do? What will you do? Then from that point, you're supposed to say, I would ensure that my team works hard to ensure that we come up with the relevant information, we come up with relevant data to back up our, maybe a conclusion, something of that kind. To talk from that perspective, if you're told, like, what would you do as a student, as a candidate, what should you do? Then it means you talk from the first person. But any other work where you are not to, where you're not told to, you are not directed to the you, then you use third person. Their choice, or the government should ensure that the people's way of living is legislated in the constitution, or rather, the government or the parliament should legislate on better ways to prevent emission of greenhouse gases into the air. Then he's talking about a clear focus on the research problem. When we're talking about global warming, then you should focus on global warming. You should not get yourself into other things that you're not, you should not deviate from the point of discussion. So that simply means that don't formulate your own questions and answer them. That is very wrong. It's unacceptable. It's terrible. It's bad. Just get it from my words. It's annoying. It's not allowed. It's bad. It's bad. It's very bad. It's very bad. It's very bad. It's very bad. Focus on the topic. If your thesis statement said you are going to talk about effects of global warming on effects of global warming or effects of pollution to global warming, then you need to talk about effects of pollution to global warming. No other thing should come along the way. If you're talking about how global warming is affected by pollution, then that should be the focus. That should be the problem. That should be the thing you focus on from A to Z. Then precise word choice. Ladies and gentlemen, precise word choice. Your work must be mature, very mature, very, very mature, very mature. Your work must be very mature. That is to say that you must use very good vocabularies. Instead of defining a whole term, then give the term itself. Now, to break monotony, I'll tell you something small. 10 miles ahead, partnered with Firemonts Limited in a bid to creating a big, better, and brighter blue youth economy. Therefore, we'll be starting a show very soon to be discussing about how this blue youth economy is created. I wish that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. You continue being a loyal member, press the bell down there, and continue being a loyal member. Thank you very much. Let's get back to work. That was very fast, but very important. Thank you. Then grammar. Grammar is very important, although I'm not going to talk about grammar very much because we are really not going to teach on grammar because I'm here to understand, and I believe that you're good in grammar. I believe you're good in grammar because you're very bright. Some of the issues that have been seen prior to this are amazing and really say and state the position that you have a strong word command in vocabulary. You have a strong command in the English language, which is required. Therefore, we are not going to look much into it, but it is important that you take into cognizance the fact that your grammar communicates a lot. Your grammar communicates a lot. Using of proper vocabularies communicates a lot about you. Therefore, it's important that you look into that. Then punctuation. Punctuation is very important as different punctuations give different sentences different meanings. Therefore, if you punctuate your work wrongly, there's a likelihood of a misunderstanding, or your work is not easily to be, your point is not going to be communicated very well. Therefore, it's important that you use proper punctuation. You use proper punctuation. Use proper punctuation in your work. I know you know about punctuation. Then use of credible sources, use of credible sources. When you're doing your work, basically the truth is that not everything that you're going to write is within your knowledge. Not everything is within your knowledge. Therefore, sometimes you're forced to use content from other people. You are forced to do research to get the information you're using. If you're doing an assignment in law and maybe you never studied law, then it's very important to know, like, how do I get this information? How do I get this data? How do I do referencing to show that this work has been gotten from from a particular place, in a particular sector? The other thing I wish that you take cognizance is that when you're doing credible sources, we are going to train you on the best referencing sites, referencing websites that you're supposed to use to ensure that your work is good. We have referencing sites like Wikipedia, which is not allowed academically. So in your academic work, you should never use references from Wikipedia. The most used and widely accepted is Google Scholar, because any information that is published on Google Scholar is verified and true. But sometimes some of the websites are written for the purposes of pesha, for the purposes of money. Therefore, it might not really give the relevant or the credible information that you require. Therefore, if a lecturer sees anything done from Wikipedia, then trust me, my brother, my sister, you're dead. If they see that, you're dead. But of course, you're not dead literally, but your work is dead because it's not going to be accepted. That is use of credible sources. Those are the 7 basics about academic writing that we were focusing on in our first session. Always remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep basis. We are going to be updating you each and every time, so that at the end of the day, you're good. Let's work together, let's grow together, let's develop together, because together we can. We call it the B5, building a big, better, and brighter Blue Youth economy. The West is very loyal, the West always remembers, and the West delivers. Thank you very much. Have a blessed time. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you.